Hey everyone, my name's Sean, and I'm really awkward. What better way to start off a new channel than to talk about something personal? Today I'm going to talk to you guys about my adoption story. Unlike most Asian adoption stories, mine's a little bit different. I come from a birth family of 5. I know my mom, my dad, my older brother, me, and my younger sister. And I, being the middle child, I was the only one put up for adoption. And like most other children that were put up for adoption, I want to know why. Hopefully one day I'll know enough Vietnamese to be able to ask my family face to face. My half-sister was also put up for adoption in the same orphanage, and she's a few years older than me. As you would expect, the older kids in the orphanage would take care of the younger ones, and me, being only less than a year old, I was taken care of mainly by everyone. When my adoptive parents came over from America with the other couples that were adopting children, I don't think they could imagine what would come next. My half-sister was known for escaping the orphanage and running to my aunt's house that was only a few blocks away. Whenever she escaped, the people from the orphanage always knew where to find her. The day that we were going to be adopted, my half-sister knew when she saw all the people from America. And in front of everyone, she escaped from the orphanage and ran to my aunt's house one last time. And guess who was there? My birth mom. The people from the orphanage and the people that were adopting kids that day all followed my half-sister over to my aunt's house, and that is when my two mothers met. My mom and my birth mom met eyes and joined hands, and as you can imagine, there was a lot of crying. Despite the language barrier, my mom was trying to comfort my birth mom by telling her that it was going to be okay and that she was going to take good care of me. They hugged and cried for what felt like forever. All my mom wanted was for my birth mom to know that I was going to be safe and I was going to be taken care of. The translators helped my moms exchange information and stay in contact. And since then, I've sent my birth family handwritten letters, and my parents sent them updates on how I was doing every year. We also sent them money around Christmas time to help them out. And growing up was interesting. I never really felt like I didn't belong. I never really felt like I was different. I mean, I knew I was adopted, and I knew I had a family somewhere else in the world, but I didn't think of the family that I had as one that I didn't fit in with. I had loving parents that let me follow my dreams, and they told me anything was possible as long as I was willing to work for it. The only times it really bothered me was when I had enough time to think about it. And I didn't like thinking about it because I didn't really have anyone else to talk to it about. I had other friends that were adopted, but none of them knew their parents like I did. No one else had a connection like I did. And there was always that one unanswered question. Why? Why me? My older brother wasn't put up for adoption, but I was. And my younger sister wasn't put up for adoption, but I was. I was the middle child. Now, was it to give me a better chance at life? If that was the reason, don't you think that my older brother would have been put up for adoption, or my younger sister? I went through almost every single possible outcome of why I was put up for adoption, but I could always think of a reason why that wouldn't make sense. When I was growing up, I didn't think of myself as any different. I saw my white brother as a brother, just like anyone else, and my adopted sister, who was adopted from China, just like anyone else. The only time that it really hit me, and that I thought about it a lot, was in middle school. I thought about why I was given up, why I was put up for adoption. Every time I thought about it, it only made it worse. I couldn't think about it for too long, or else I would get really angry with myself, or I would have a lot of self-doubt. I was even suicidal for a lot of my middle school life, but I always tried to hide that from my parents so that they wouldn't worry about me. And at the end of my middle school life, around 9th grade, my half-sister, who had never contacted me before and I didn't really know that she existed, found me on Facebook and we started talking for the first time. And after about a week of conversation and talking with her, we met up in real life for the first time, and right there she asked if we wanted to go to Vietnam with her. Without a doubt, my mom and dad said yes immediately. And a few months later, we were on our way to Vietnam. I had no idea what to expect when I got off the plane. Like everyone else, you'd expect a few people waiting there, holding up signs, saying your name, waving back and forth. But when we got there, my half-sister, me, my dad, my mom, my sister, my brother, after we entered the terminal, it looked like everyone was there to see my family. There were almost 50 people there that I would find out they were related to me later on. A man that I had never met before grabbed me and hugged me really tight, and he was crying. I had never met this guy in my life. My half-sister tapped me on the shoulder and said, "That's your dad." And that's when I started to cry as well. And soon after, my birth mom started hugging me. I had no clue who any of these people were. I had pictures of them from long ago, but I've never seen them in person before. Most of the next part was a blur, but I know that right after we got out of the airport, we jumped in this van that you'd think would only be able to fit 9 people max, but I'm pretty sure it held around 20. Over the next 5 weeks, I met a lot of family members, and I think I only remember how I'm related to about 4 of them. I met a lot of my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, and I met my birth brother and sister. And for the most part of the trip, we either spent it in a hotel or we spent it at my family's house. And here are a bunch of pictures from my trip. The rest can be found in the link below. And you might not believe it by looking in those photos, but yep, that was me. Super long hair, probably down to here, maybe longer, I don't remember. And I got highlights that only got lighter while I was in the sun. I was a very emo Asian kid. It was only a phase, I swear. As you can tell, I was very invested in the quality of my hair. And during this trip, because I didn't have much time to prepare, I didn't learn the whole Vietnamese language. I actually didn't know anything except for a few words. My half-sister did most of the translating along with the translator when he was there, but other than that, we didn't really communicate that much in terms of voice to voice. The first day was a little bit awkward, but for most of it, we would communicate and we understood what each other was talking about. But I never had the guts to ask my parents why I was put up for adoption in the first place. And that's one of the regrets that I have to this day. A few years later, my birth father passed away. After my trip to Vietnam, I took a few years of Vietnamese lessons. My teacher helped me communicate verbally with my mom. I would pick up my phone, I would call my birth mom, and he would be the translator between the two of us. And even then, I still never asked my mom why I was put up for adoption. Come senior year, I was getting ready for college and I had to choose a major, and I had to put something to the side, and that happened to be Vietnamese lessons. Now it's my senior year of college, and it's the first time I'm really opening up about this. If you were adopted, or you adopted a child, I would love to hear some of your stories below. And I want everyone that was put up for adoption to know that you're cared for and you are loved. Your self-worth is not based off of being put up for adoption. Thanks for listening to my story, guys, and if you have any stories of your own to share, I would love to hear them. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks, see you next time.